Welcome to the MS&Me Radio Network. The broadcast shows are for informational and entertainment purposes only. They are not designed to provide listeners with specific personal, medical, or counseling advice. Individuals with a medical issue should always consult their healthcare provider. MS&Me is not responsible for content of individual shows. The views expressed by show hosts or their guests are their own. Enjoy the show.
From a different angle. Hi there. Welcome to the 68th episode of A Couple Takes on MS. Hi, this is Dan Digman.
And hi, it's me, Jennifer Digman.
And we are here, the Couple Takes on MS. I have relapsing remitting MS.
And my MS is secondary progressive. And we met at an MS function. Good heavens, what was that, like 16 years ago, Dan?
It's, wow, 17 years doing the math.
Ouch. But yes, Dan and I each had multiple sclerosis, and we met, and we've been together ever since.
And what we're doing here with this show, because we have the differing things, and things being multiple sclerosis, but just looking at issues and everything's in life from the different perspectives as a man living with relapsing remitting MS.
And a woman living with secondary progressive MS and a wheelchair.
You're right, you're in a wheelchair.
Yes.
And I walk
And you work and drive, and I am managing our house, and I would like to say managing both of our lives as you are managing both of our lives. Give yourself credit for everyone out there. If you're living with this disease, give yourself credit that you're taking on a tough one.
And what we're talking about today, and give you tips and things as we're coming up on, it's throughout life, but I mean, it's gorgeous weather. It's like when the weather's nice, it seems we're doing more and you're doing more.
You're more apt to get out there and get active and busy yourself. Spring cleaning, hello, spring cleaning, that just in the name has work and overwhelming fatigue potential. So we're talking about tips for energy conservation.
Yes, MS and energy conservation. And this really was a topic inspired by something that you did this last week.
Yes, I went to my MOVE class. MOVE is an acronym, and I apologize, I can't exactly say the words right now, but it's an exercise class for people living with Parkinson's disease or multiple sclerosis that I take on Mondays at Central Michigan University. The Department of Physical Therapy graduate students offer the class, and it's amazing, and it gives us all, wherever your ability is, it gives you all the option to work with these incredible students for an hour, and it builds community because you're with people who may not have the exact same condition or disease, but we have neurologic conditions, and we have that in common, but we also have physical therapy students who are on their way to becoming physical therapists at our fingertips, and they have some great tips. And Dan, gave us the information about energy conservation and work simplification. And I think this is the perfect time to talk about it.
And this is great. And so, citing our sources, I mean, they gave a really great handout sheet with information from the Multiple Sclerosis Association of America. And so any of the factual stuff we're reading verbatim from that. But I mean, we'll take those topics and just kind of bring them to life within our experiences living with multiple sclerosis. But then you think to yourself, like, how does this pertain to you? And as you're thinking about it, I mean, feel free to share with us and put it in, get in the conversation, and send it to us on our blog. It's danandjenniferdigman.com, or tweet us at, it's at DanGenDig, and just let us know kind of where you're at with energy conservation, because I know that my tendency, and this is for those of us living with multiple sclerosis, my feeling, what I end up doing more times than not in the 19 years I've been living with multiple sclerosis is when I'm feeling good, I tend to overdo it because you're always afraid that I'm not going to have energy tomorrow, so I do, and then you end up just crashing.
Yeah, and that is true. You overdo it sometimes when you're feeling really good. And that's one of the energy conservation tips is, just you need to complete tasks in the most efficient ways in order to have enough energy for the activities you enjoy. So instead of, Dan, you like cleaning something up and wearing yourself out and you won't be able to do the fun stuff like go and play horseshoes in the backyard, or you're pretty much going to be sitting on the couch watching sports. You won't be able to go out and go for a walk or play horseshoes or just do something. If you broke up those tasks, that like cleaning or even working, you just kind of simplify your life. It makes it a little easier.
Absolutely, and I think, according to this sheet, that up to 80% of people living with MS experience the disabling effects of fatigue. And I think, so often, and that's like one of the most major symptoms of multiple sclerosis is the fatigue. And I vouch for that. I think it's, and as apps, we all talk about how it's so hard to describe, and so few people truly understand what that means. I mean, how about you? I mean, because you talked yesterday, you worked out with with your move classes, and like eating dinner last night. You had said a couple times, you just comment, it's like, did I tell you I worked out today?
And it's one of those things that you have to remember. And MS fatigue, I don't want to be very snotty sounding, but MS fatigue is more than just being tired. I mean, fatigue is a part of our condition. And I think it's really important to educate your family and your friends and your caregivers that fatigue is more than just being tired. I've seen plenty of memes on Facebook or on Twitter, Instagram, trying to describe fatigue. And, when I go to an exercise class at 10 o'clock in the morning and then at 6 o'clock at night, I'm so tired that I can't even lift my spoon or fork to my mouth. That is just that maybe I overdid it too much at the exercise class. I guess I need to take some of these tips myself, but that you have to respect fatigue that can knock you down like that.
And this raises a great question that I'll ask you, and you, in fairness, can flip it back at me.
Absolutely.
But so and think about this in listener land. We talk like, oh, no one understands the fatigue, the MS fatigue, and everything. How would you describe it? How would you describe your MS fatigue to make somebody else not living with MS understand what it?
I remember we participated in something with Healthline, which is an excellent resource if you're diagnosed with multiple sclerosis or any condition. It's an online, medical resource, healthline.com. Had asked people to describe what living with fatigue is like. And all I said is, when you go get x-rays at the dentist, and you put on that vest, it's like I don't want to say lead vest, but
it feels like a lead vest.
Lead vest. Imagine if you had to wear that with you every day, all day. I mean, just where you feel so weighted down. That for me is fatigue. And I don't feel like that all day. But if I overdo it, or, some mornings I wake up and I'm like, I just want to go right back to sleep because I am really fatigued. But I find that being active, eating well, being well hydrated, if I ever sound loopy on these radio shows, I need to drink some water, because I think when I'm really dehydrated, or if I'm not, if I haven't exercised and I'm not treating my body well, that's when I'm the most fatigued. turn it around. Mr. Digman, how would you describe fatigue?
I just to where, we say like wiped out, and I think it's truly at the end of, I would equate it to heat exhaustion.
Well, that's
I
interesting.
mean, just, that moment where you hit that, and officially or not officially, I mean, because certainly there is such thing as heat exhaustion, but just thinking of the times when I've been outside, pre-MS, but outside playing, doing whatever, but you're working outside, you're playing outside in the heat, and just you're so zapped of any energy. You talked about being able to lift your hands to
Right.
drink. I mean, but just to where you're walking in a daze. I
Yes.
mean, and in your mind you're thinking, I should lift my legs, I should sit, I need to grab a water, but all you want to do is just stand in place or just sit and just stare and do, because you have absolutely nothing. Difference between heat exhaustion and this is you can do absolutely nothing and have that kind of level of fatigue where you're just zapped and can't do a thing.
No, that's true, and I think that's maybe why it's important to be proactive about fatigue, just to get your rest and take your medicine and try and eliminate some of the things that can influence fatigue, stress, so that you can put your mind to sleep when you put your body to sleep at night. Or, the depression. I know depression makes a big, if you have something on your mind, it's hard to get rest. And so if your mind's moving a mile a minute, you may not be able to get the rest that you need to help fight off fatigue. And again, eating well and exercising is kind of counterintuitive as that sounds, I'm going to exercise when I'm tired, but maybe if you can build up your endurance, that could help you with fatigue. I know that it helps me. How
Absolutely.
about you?
Oh, totally. I just, when I used to go with you to the move classes, I mean, at said class, I'd be tired at the end, but come the evening, I was all full of energy because you had that exercise. I mean, that's part of it, but it's just, the reality is, one of the points that they make on this sheet is just that you're not lazy, and I think that's the big thing. We're always talking about how you want to explain and educate and inform your family and friends about this and about the fatigue, and that you're not being lazy because this is a real thing. I think a lot of times the person you need to convince is yourself.
Yeah, I think that's very true.
That you're not being lazy. It's like there's things that I want to do, but it's just like, and you need to let that go. I think that you find ways to cut corners or make it easier. I think you always quote Rachel Ray, take the help where you can get it.
Rachel is very smart when she says that.
But it is. It's just like, like one of their suggestions to eliminate unnecessary tasks. Let the dishes drip dry, or arrange your workspace to eliminate bending and excess movement. I think it's just those things to simplify your life so it is easier.
And I remember the first time that my first occupational therapist, Kevin, he made a visit to my house, and he looked at the way my bedroom was laid out, and he just started moving things, moving furniture, because there was a more efficient way to have, my closet and you can't move your closet, but to move my bed closer to my closet, and in the bathroom to put a chair in there so that I could sit when I was drying my hair, or sit when I was trying to put on makeup. Just a more efficient way that was more conserving energy. I think that helped. And, just simple little tweaks like that. I know, and this is one of the silliest small little tweaks, but I like to play on my phone. But because I'm having increasing tone and difficulty using my hands, I will get frustrated and I will get very upset that I can't push the buttons. Well, if I get a stylus, which I did, which are not terribly expensive, you can get 5 for like $8 or something like that. You get a stylus and you can push those little buttons on your smartphone. And that helps to decrease that frustration and that fatigue from trying to work little things on your smartphone. And I'm sure you've done.
One of the things that you taught me, and I'm really trying to incorporate, and I'm glad that you're there to coach me, but like in the morning when we're getting ready, like and not to get too much information, but I mean, I help you get dressed in the morning.
Yes, thank you very much.
But in helping Jennifer, or even me getting ready, I mean, so she's in the bathroom, all your clothes are in the bedroom. And I have, and it's not diagnosed or anything, but it's just like what I would equate to OCD. And it's just like I have to have everything in order. And so I go and I get your clothes out of the bedroom, walk them back to the bathroom, and then I'll make like 3 or 4 trips from the bathroom to the bedroom to take, okay, well, I took off your shirt. This is a dirty shirt. I don't want to throw it on the floor. So I will walk that back to the bedroom, throw it in the dirty clothes basket, come back. And it's just all those things, and you're just like, Dan, why don't you just wait?
Yeah,
or why don't you do this?
Like conserve your tasks, instead of making multiple trips to the hamper with the dirty clothes or into the bedroom to get my lotion or deodorant or whatever. Just save that, like consolidate your trips, because your energy shouldn't be spent so early in the morning with like wasted trips. As much as I appreciate your help, I want you to be able to continue with your day and have some gas in your tank. You know what I mean? That.
Oh, totally. Yeah, and I think it's a lot like spending money, or it's just like you're nickel and diming things, or when we talk, oh well, it's only like $5 extra a month. Well, at the end of the year, that's $60 a year, and that and if you do that in all these other places, that money that adds up a lot. So it's just like for every day, that if you're given so much energy, sure, it's just walking back to the bedroom, but it's just like that's more work. And not to say that I couldn't use the walking and the movement and stuff,
Right.
but at the same time, maybe save that energy so I actually could go for a bona fide walk.
Yeah, or there could be days where you're going to be like, Jen, I'm on fire. I don't mind. I'm going to do this. And you'll go back and forth and back and forth. But then there will be that day where you're like, I'm tired. I didn't sleep well, or I was busy at work yesterday. I need to just take it easy. And you'll combine those tasks and be really effective to manage your energy and your strength and your
function and enjoyment of life.
Yes, and so that you can not just spend your energy helping me get dressed, but we can actually go somewhere, do something, so that you can have that extra activities that you enjoy.
Exactly, and I think something else then related to fatigue and MS is the heat.
Yes.
I mean, just think of how much, as I talked earlier about heat exhaustion, but just think how much heat takes its toll on those of us who's living with MS.
And one of the worst stories, if I can tattle on my husband really quick, is when Dan used to run regularly. He would run outside when it was warm, because it would be like summer, and he would run. And Dan is blind in his right eye, so he only had that from an accident when he was a child.
Yes,
so
not MS related.
Predated MS. So he has vision in his left eye. And when he was running and it was warm outside, and his vision in his left eye would kind of start wavy and be a little sad.
I'd have blocks of like little dark spots that I couldn't see.
And he's like, yeah, Jen, I have to listen to the traffic. And I'm like, oh, no, no, no. I mean, I don't want to be the overprotective wife, but I don't want my husband to get hit by a car because he's judging how safe it is to run and try and cross the street, judging it on the sound of traffic. So, when you get hot, especially if you have multiple sclerosis, you can do some wonky things to your body. So you need to be kind to yourself and understand that. And have a cooling vest or drink some cold water or have some ice. I mean, we've talked about heat and how exhausting that can be. But, the heat, respecting that to conserve your energy is really important.
Well, I think that's where part of the tips that they have from the Multiple Sclerosis Association of America, and this is where it just equates to running. When I used to run, they always talked about dressing in layers. And you can always shed the layers and stuff, so you always want to make sure you're dressing as warm as you need to at the beginning, but just so you don't overheat, do it so you can take things off. And I think just the mirror, kind of like in the middle of the night, if you want me to take your socks off or whatever, that adds some levels of cool to you. So if you're warm wearing layers outside,
You shed a few and you'll kind of cool off. And just that instant cooling off will make your energy feel a little like a return, like, whoa, there it is. So I think that's an important tip. And as we mentioned, sit while you're doing activities to get ready, when you're getting ready, or sit to do your laundry, to fold laundry, or when you're cooking. You use a lot of energy standing, and if you just sit to do things, that can save you up to 25% of your energy just sitting, and I'm in a wheelchair and I realize that it's the temptation to sit with MS is great, but you have to listen to your body and what's safe, especially if you're cooking or doing something that's, where you have a opportunity or a possibility that you burn yourself or, God forbid, cut your finger or something like that. So it's important to do those energy-saving techniques to help save yourself and save your finger, for example. So I think that's very important. And another thing, I love to grocery shop. Get familiar with your store. I know here in Michigan, there are a few grocery stores in our area where they will actually, the store will shop for you. I think you pay a little bit more, but you can have someone go to the grocery store and get your groceries for you and deliver them to your house. And that's an energy-saving, time-saving technique. You don't have to have multiple sclerosis to utilize. We have a friend at church that she gets her groceries delivered to her because it just saves her a lot of energy and time, so she has time to work and spend time with her family.
Well, and I think that's, obviously, yes, it costs money, but that's just like, that's money well spent.
Mm-hmm.
That it's like one less thing that you have to do. And what was it that you had said, or that somebody had said on Dr. Phil, or just like, by giving up
when you depend on someone else, you become more independent. And it's kind of crazy. I'm going to try and write about this, but it's just the reality. If I lean on Dan, if I can't do something on my own, if I ask him for help, I'm able to complete the task. With his help, I'm able to be independent and get it done. I need help, but I'm able to be like everyone else and get some of these things done. When you lean on someone else, you become more independent.
We're in a hotel right now. You can't drive. I'll drive. So you're depending on me to drive you here, but because of that, you're independent because you're able to get out and do this rather
This,
than.
absolutely. I wouldn't be able to do this if I didn't depend on you, Dan. So I think that that's really important, is you just have to ask for the help. You have to know, like, I love to grocery shop, as I said, and if I don't want to have my groceries delivered to me, I just have to know the store layout a little bit. And I pride myself, which is silly, but when I make my grocery list and I can be like, oh, bam, 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 and I can just walk the store efficiently, and I know where things are, and that really makes it, because grocery shopping is an important activity of my daily life, and I like to do it, and I have help from a caregiver or from you if we have to do it. And for example, if I need to take pop bottles back, I'll save that up. You don't have to do it every time, but I'll save that up until the end of the month and I'll take them back. Or when I'm tired and I can just run in and get 2 or 3 things and not do like the big monthly grocery shopping. So you just have to learn how to do things so that you can conserve energy.
And I think that's, one of the things that happens with that is we as people with MS, we need to continue to push ourselves. And I think it's just really, as far as energy conservation and things, it's just, you got to get to know your body, know and listen to it, and say, when can I push myself? When do I need to hold back? And because
just keep moving forward. I think that's really important. Depend on your team, lean on your team, and anyone who doesn't understand fatigue, educate them, because fatigue is going to be something that you battle with throughout your course of life with multiple sclerosis, but it doesn't mean you need to stop doing it. You just need to respect it.
So continue to conserve your energy and push yourself, but conserve your energy so you can move forward. And thank you. So how do you conserve, and what are your tips for conserving energy? Let us know on our website. Email us. The website is danandjenniferdigman.com, or tweet us at danjendig. Thanks again for listening to this, the 68th episode of A Couple Takes on MS. Thanks to Blue Giraffe Kid for composing the theme music to our program, and thanks to the MS&Me Radio Network for having us along. Take care.